Well, hey everybody, welcome to Active Self-Protection, and my name is John, and I'm the proprietor here of Aspen. I'm here to just kind of talk with you about a couple of basic things. You know, had some people asking me for some video input, and I do some videos on a couple of important things. Thought I would try. See how it goes. Love your feedback. Leave me some feedback in the comments. Let me know what videos that you want. I think it was a good idea to start, though. A couple people asked me about basic gun safety and remembering why it is that we're safe and how to be safe with your firearms. I think it's a great skill to learn. You know, I think in suburban and urban areas, you're seeing more and more kids that aren't raised around guns and they don't know how to handle guns. They're taught that guns are dangerous, but that's it, and so then they're afraid of them. I don't think you should ever be afraid of a firearm. However, you should always respect a firearm. I think that if you know what they are, then knowledge is power, and you'll do better with them. So here I have, right now, I'm the only gun I have. You can see the background here. I'm in my office. I'm not at home. So the only one I have is my Glock 19, which is my everyday carry, and I'm just going to show you right there. You can see there's in there. I've got an empty gun. So we know that I have an empty gun right here. I'm going to go ahead and hold it just so then that way it doesn't go off screen and you say, oh, somebody could have done something with it. You know, there's a couple different ways to look at firearm safety. Colonel Cooper had his 4 rules. The NRA boils it down to 3. I've seen guys do 5. They all boil down to the same thing. First of all, Colonel Cooper's 4 rules. He said, number 1, always treat every gun like it's loaded all the time. We always treat a gun like it's loaded. So I don't care if it is or not. I verified again that this gun is unloaded. I come back to you again. You can see, there you go. I've got, you know, my nothing down the barrel there. I've got no magazine in, so I know that this is an empty gun, but I'm still going to treat it like it's a loaded gun. I'm not going to point it at myself. I'm not going to point it at somebody else. I'm going to treat it like it's loaded. Because if I treat it like it's loaded, then I know that I'm safe with it. Okay? His second rule was, not only do I treat every gun like it's loaded, but I never put my muzzle on something that I'm not willing to destroy. So, by Colonel Cooper's rule, I want to be very careful where I point this. I don't want to point it here at my recording device, at my camcorder, because, you know what, I don't want to destroy that. So I always keep a gun pointed in a direction, never pointed at something that I don't want to destroy. Third, keep my finger off the trigger until I'm ready to fire. If I'm on the target, I'm on the trigger. If I'm off the target, I'm off the trigger. So you'll notice that I'm holding here with my trigger finger, my index finger indexed along the slide. I'm holding, this is a little weird for me. I'm left-handed, so keeping it right-handed is a little different for me. And then next, the final rule in Colonel Cooper's is that I'm always aware of my target and what lies behind it. So not only do I look at my target, but if I'm going to, I got to go left-handed here, but if I'm going to look down my target and say, okay, what's going on down there, not only do I see it, but I see what's behind it, because if my bullet misses or over-penetrates, I want to know where it's going. The NRA's rules kind of boil that down to 3 from 4, so they kind of assume that guns are loaded and we treat them like they are. That's just not part of their rules. So there's our number 1, always keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction. Number 2, keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to pull it, until you're on target. And then number 3, they say always keep a gun unloaded unless it's in use. Why are all these so important together? Because I have to have really a couple of things together in order to have a discharge of a firearm. First of all, I need a functioning gun. Second of all, I need ammunition in that gun. Third of all, I need a trigger pull. So if I have a trigger pull with ammunition in the gun, then I'll have a discharge of the firearm. If I don't have one part of the triangle, nothing will happen. So like again, for instance, if I'm gonna an empty gun, third time that I'm going to show you that it's an empty gun, so I don't have any ammunition in this gun, if I pull the trigger, click, nothing bad goes down. That's okay. Again, it's pointed at the ground. This would be a safe place even if it did discharge. Me, I kind of like a combination of them. So for me, I always say, look, I don't want to be afraid of this, but I always want to be respectful of it. I never want to play with this. It's not a toy. Never treat it like a toy. So I'm going to treat it safely. I'm going to keep it pointed in a safe direction. I never point guns at people. I'm always cautious of that. Personally, it's why I hate gun stores. You go into gun stores, man, the last time I went into one of the major chains around here, I probably had 5 or 6 guns pointed at me because people would say, oh, can I see that gun across the counter? And next thing you know, they're waving them around and doing the Macarena with them. So I always keep it pointed in a safe direction. I always keep my finger off the trigger. Big deal to me. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to pull. And again, on the sights, this is one that my favorite is from Clint Smith at Thunder Ranch. On the sights, when I'm on the target, I'm on the trigger. When I'm off the target, I'm off the trigger. I agree, actually, with the NRA that says, look, if the gun's not being used, then it should be kept unloaded. Perhaps my only thing is that I think a gun that's being used to defend a home, a gun that's being used to defend yourself, certainly you'd want to keep that guy loaded if you're going to keep it on you, and you want to keep that guy loaded as well if it was a home defense tool because it's being used. So there's your basics of safety. I want you to remember, okay, the dangerous end, the pointy end, the end that the bullet comes out of You want to make sure that you're very aware of where that's pointing, number one. Number two, keep your booger hook off the bang switch until it's time to use it. Number three, always be aware of your target, what lies beyond it. Make sure that you're careful with that. If you do those things and keeping guns unloaded that aren't being in use, and you always check them too. My last bit here is whenever I pick a gun up, so if I put this gun down, and you say, wait a minute, John, there's nobody else in the room, we haven't had a magic imp that's come up and hurt anybody. True, but still, I'm going to go ahead and pick this gun up, and I'm going to check it. And I'm going to say, okay, there we go. Look down, good, I'm good. You can see again, good, empty, we're good. If you do that, chances are slim that you'll have a negligent discharge. So be safe out there, guys. God bless you.